Well, you coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express.
So what are the chances of you seeing some of this with a visit from the Polar Express? And what are the chances of you seeing a white Christmas? We're going to let you know coming up right now. Hey, welcome back everybody to the Weather Nerds YouTube page. I'm meteorologist Craig Majeski, and as always, I always like to thank my subscribers. We're currently up to 511, growing a little bit every day. And if you haven't joined the channel just yet, please consider it. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up or comment. Helps with the algorithm as we try to grow this channel. You know, it's hard to believe. Remember last year? Remember this? We had one of the coldest Christmases in about 30, 35 years. I think since about 1989 last year. Now, us seeing that again this year, probably not likely, but we could still take a look at where we think we might see a white Christmas. So things you need to know. Here's what we're going to talk about for today. We're going to talk about the probability of white Christmas. Well, we're going to look at climatology and look at where you're at in the part of the nation to see where are the best places to see white Christmas. We're also going to talk about where the current snow is sitting on the ground. We'll take a look at the current map, see where the snow is currently sitting across the United States. And then we're also going to talk about the climate outlook, which I'll be honest with you, doesn't look all that promising, especially with the precipitation part of it. It's going to take us out to about December the 20th. And then finally, just for fun and giggles, we're going to take a look at the long-range GFS model and see where we're projecting the snow to fall for the next 3 weeks. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at that probability map. So what you're seeing right here is from the National Climate Data Center. This is a probability, a statistical probability map. It's not a forecast. It's basically looking at Christmases in years past where we've had at least 1 inch of snow on the ground or more on Christmas Day. And obviously when you see areas there here in purple, like the Intermountain region here, obviously the high plains, the Northeast, those are the highest areas where you're going to see snow on the ground, greater than 50% chance of seeing that. Then you kind of got this intermediate area kind of in here where you see the blue and the light blue up there to the kind of the off blue color. That's a 50%, between basically 10 and 50%. And then of course areas here in the deep south, you're kind of in less than 10% chance. And obviously here out in California as well, with less than a 10% chance of seeing snow. So this is, again, historical perspective on where you're going to see it. Now keep this map in mind. Let's go ahead and take a look at where the current snow is sitting on the ground. Now the first thing you're going to probably notice out of looking at this current snow map as of December the 7th is the lack of it across most of the country, especially areas here across the high plains, which is really not unusual when we're talking about an El Nino year. Yeah, you got snow on the ground up here across the Northeast, and there's areas here in the Intermountain region. Obviously, the higher mountains probably got more than what's showing here. That's because in an El Nino year, most of the moisture is down here across the south. So a lot of the country, at least now, the first week of December, lacking a lot of snow. The question is, will we see more of it a little bit later in the month, or will this trend that we're currently seeing going to continue? For that, let's go ahead and shift over to the climate outlook. That's going to take us out to about December 20th, about 5 days before Christmas. We're first going to take a look at the 6 to 10 day outlook as far as the temperatures, and we're expecting a lot of areas of the country with above normal temperatures. Doesn't surprise me that the area, the part of the country that has no snow on the ground is expecting above normal temperatures. Obviously, if they had snow on the ground, that would probably help with the cooler temperatures. And we're seeing below normal temperatures here along the Gulf Coast. That's predominantly because of cloud cover and obviously increased chances of rain expected down that way. Now, as we take this out even further, as we go out to days 8 through 14, this is going to take you up to about December the 20th, about 5 days before Christmas. Not much change there, to say the least. You're still looking at a big bulk area here across the high plains with above normal temperatures in there, and below normal temperatures along the Gulf Coast. Of course, that's where the precipitation is going to be. And I think you're going to find out as I switch over to the precipitation outlook, it's kind of lining up where the above normal temperatures are also lining up as well. So let's take a look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here. And look at this, big part of the country seeing precipitation below normal, except for areas down near Texas, and of course down here in Florida with the active subtropical jet stream. That's the El Nino influence there. And it looks like this trend is going to continue into days 8 through 14, taking us right into the 20th, with above normal precipitation. So the thing we're going to be looking out for is we're going to need some sort of pattern shift to kind of come in at the tail end of this climate outlook and going into the week of Christmas if we're going to see A, colder temperatures, and B, snow conditions. Now again, this is just a climate outlook looking at a bunch of different models. So just for fun and giggles, shall we say, get my mouth to work here, let's go ahead and take a look at what the GFS model is showing long range as far as snow totals. Of course, it'll change, but it's fun to look at. So let's take a look. So we're going to use the GFS model. It takes us out the furthest, takes about 16 days out. I think I did 3 weeks earlier, but it's 16 days, about a little over 2 weeks. And it's going to take us almost to right before Christmas, out to about December the 22nd. So we get an idea of at least trends, and we can at least see the snows from this initial storm system that's coming in for this weekend and into early next week that's kind of crossing the country. So let's go ahead and step you through this. Let's get through this first event as we see the snows there falling across the Intermountain region and then coming into Colorado as we go throughout the day heading into Saturday. A little bit of snows across the high plains and then right through Wisconsin and Michigan going into Saturday night and Sunday. That's going into December the 10th. And then finally wrapping this thing up as it goes through by on the northeast corridor as we go into early next week. So we're going to stop it here on Tuesday, December the 12th, as you can see here where the snows have fallen across areas of the northeast and a little bit here across the high plains, but really not a whole lot there. Not enough to build like a snowpack or anything. A lot of it will probably melt off over time, and a little bit across the Intermountain region. All right, let's go further into time. Let's go ahead and take this fully out to the end of the model run as we're going to see a little upper level disturbance that may bring in some snows across areas of New Mexico and into areas of the Texas Panhandle a little bit. The European model has also been reflecting this on the previous few runs. And then beyond that, stays pretty dry. Not a lot of activity going on there, except toward the tail end of this run where we see a system that kind of dives down and brings some snows across the high plains into the Midwest and into the Northeast. So taking a final look here on December the 22nd, you got some decent snows across the Northeast. You got a little path of snow here with that next storm system there. And of course, we'll just add a little bit to the totals across the Intermountain region as well. So for your snow lovers, at least right now for the Deep South, areas here in the plains not looking too great. Not a high chance of snow. Nothing like we saw last winter, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this edition up. Again, this is a special kind of a white Christmas outlook here, and I might do another one of these as we get a little bit closer. And if we get a pattern shift, which would be nice, maybe we get a better chance of seeing snow for areas that should see it, that may miss it just because of the current weather pattern and an El Nino winter that we're kind of having to fight right now. Hey, if you can do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification tab, hit that thumbs up, help me build this channel. The more audience I add, the bigger audience I can deal with real-time weather events, which is really something I want to do, but I got to build that audience first, so please help me out. That's going to be it for it right now. That's today's edition. We'll see you on the next update. Until then, you guys have a pleasant and safe day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.